Unit 3, Day 6. Last day of new stuff for the entire 9 weeks. How about that? We've just about made it. Solving radical equations. Start with a super easy one here. Square root of x equals 7. Probably most of you wouldn't even use like a method to solve that. You would just look at it and figure it out. But if I ask you to sort of prove or explain or show where your answer came from, like what would you do to get x by itself? Square both sides. And then the square and the square root cancel each other out. So x is 49. What about the square root of x equals negative 3? Square. Okay. Square both sides. X equals 9. But something's not right about that. Because if we go to check these, not that you would check this one, but if you did, square root of 49 is 7. Yep, that's true. On the second one, what's the square root of 9? 3, not negative 3. So something's going on here, and the short answer, the short explanation is when you square both sides, you must check your answers. Must, not like you should, and a good student would take their time and make sure they were doing things right, or you just want to make sure, and so you make 100 on the test. It's not that kind of should, it's a must, because this one illustrates what happens. Squaring wipes out negatives, and sometimes that's the problem. So if you square both sides in a problem, anywhere in the problem, you have to go back and check your answers. Okay, that's kind of the only thing you got to remember for today. Don't forget to check your answers. It says it on the worksheet today. I don't remember if it says it on the test. Anytime you square both sides, you need to check your answers. So let's do some examples. Negative 7 plus the square root of 3 minus x equals 2. I think these are easy enough. We should just pick on some people to ask what we should do first. Cole, what do you want to do first? Move the 7 over. So add 7 to both sides. Evan, what do you want to do next?
Square both sides.
Square both sides. So, I don't know, maybe this is an easy question. Noah, what do you get on the left-hand side when you square the square root of 3 minus x? 3 minus x. That was the whole point of squaring it, just to get rid of the square root. 9 squared is 81. Ben, what do I do next?
You subtract the 3.
Subtract the 3. Then we'll divide by negative 1. And get negative 78. But I'm not quite done yet because I squared both sides way back here. So that means I better go check my answer to make sure it works. So negative 7 plus the square root of 3 minus negative 78 equals 2. Negative 7 plus the square root of 81. Negative 7 plus 9 equals 2. You don't have to show all the steps. As soon as you figure out that it works or doesn't work, then you can box your answer or cross it out. And it doesn't take much to show your work on the checking, because if you don't show your work, or if you don't check and you were supposed to, then you'll get the wrong answer. So I'm not worried about how much work you show over here. Again, because if you don't do it and you needed to, you might miss the problem. Square root of 5x minus 4 equals the square root of 3 minus 2x. So that's a little different because it's got square roots on both sides, but I bet Danny still knows what to do. Square both sides, and that fixes both sides at once, so that's kind of nice. So, Toby, what do we get on the left-hand side if we square the square root of 5x minus 4? 5x minus 4. Derek, how about on the right-hand side when we square the square root of 3 minus 2x? 3 minus 2x. Again, that's the point of squaring both sides, is to get rid of the square roots. Let's see. Plus 2x to both sides, plus 4 to both sides. X equals 1. But I've got to check that because I squared both sides back here. So square root of 5 times 1 minus 4 equals square root of 3 minus 2 times 1. And again, only show what you need to show here. 5 minus 4 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. So we're good. Alright, we haven't seen one that doesn't work yet, so you can probably guess what's about to happen on this one. Spoiler alert there. Square root of x plus 6 equals x. Joseph, what do you want to do first on that one?
Square both sides.
Square both sides. Which sort of is supposed to trigger my brain that now I need to check my final answer when I get there. Austin, what does the left-hand side become? X plus 6. That was the whole point of squaring both sides. JD, what's the right-hand side become?
Square.
Yeah, sometimes you get the easy ones. Oh, we got a equation with a squared in it. Cecilia, what do we do to solve equations that have x squared in them? And if I square root it, I mean, that's not a bad answer because sometimes that would work. Yeah, but let's move everything to one side. If I square rooted this one, I'd be right back to where I started. Yeah, so you'd be like, wait a minute, that's not right. Let's move everything to one side. X squared minus x minus 6. Austin, what would you like to do next? You could factor it. Should that be the extent of your problem, or should I ask you to factor it for us as well? You think that should be it? I'll go with that. I'll let you off easy on that one. Brandon, he told you to factor it. How does it factor? Good. X minus 3 and x plus 2. So x equals 3 and x equals negative 2. But we squared both sides way back when at the start of this problem, so I need to check both answers. Square root of 3 plus 6. And again, checking just means you plug in that x value everywhere there's an x. So if I plug in 3, I get the square root of 9 equals 3. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. X equals 3 works. If I plug in x equals negative 2, square root of negative 2 plus 6 equals negative 2. Square root of 4 equals negative 2. No, it does not. So that one's out. So that's one where one worked and one did not. If you're really peeking ahead and trying to figure out what's going to work and what doesn't, sometimes this works, sometimes you don't know, but what happens is if you square a positive number, it's going to end up working out. If you square a negative number, it wipes out the negative, and that's what messes things up. So you can look back here and see that, yeah, we were squaring negative 2, and that's what kind of messed things up. You don't really need to know that, but if you're trying to plan ahead and kind of get the spoiler on what's going to happen, that's how you'd know. All right, 2 more, because there's another type of problem that we haven't really seen yet. Square root of x plus 1 equals square root of x minus 3. So, no pressure, Gregory. We hadn't seen one like this, but I'm still going to ask you what you think we should do. Any idea? There's sort of 2 things wrong with this thing. There's 2 square roots. Oftentimes you can't fix it all at once. Let's fix the harder one and we'll worry about the other one later. So if I want to fix the square root of x plus 1, what would you do? Square both sides. So left side's easy. That was the point of squaring the square roots. We're back to x plus 1. What about the right-hand side, though? What are we going to have to do with that?
X. Oh, okay. Can we say it on bottom?
You can say it, yeah.
Oh, I just put x plus 9. That's what I put. I just squared them both.
So you can't just square the pieces. You got to square the whole side.
Foil it.
So I'll have to foil it. So square root of x minus 3 times square root of x minus 3. So we will get an x and a plus 9, but we'll also get the O and the I of FOIL here, minus 6 square root of x. So I don't know, maybe that looks more complicated than what we started with, but there's only one square root now. So let's rearrange things to get that square root by itself. So let's subtract x, subtract 9. Negative 8 equals negative 6 square root of x. Divide by negative 6. And then square both sides. So we had to square both sides twice in this problem, but that's because there were 2 square roots in it. So I'm sort of extra worried about this one. I definitely need to check. Square root of 16 ninths plus 1 equals the square root of 16 ninths minus 3. Let's see. 16 over 9 plus 9 over 9. Let's So even though it's ugly fractions, they sort of work out for, not sort of, they do work out for us. So 5/3. The right-hand side's even easier. 4/3 minus 3. And I think I can stop right here, right? I don't know what 4/3 minus 3 is, but I know it's not 5/3, right? The only way to get from 4/3 to 5/3 would be add a third. So you can get a common denominator and get a negative number, but that's just not going to work. So 16/9 is out. So what do we say if the answer we got doesn't work? What's the answer to the question? No solutions. So we had an answer, didn't work, no solutions. Last one. You know what? That's almost the same as the one we just did. Let's do one off the worksheet together. So whatever worksheet number we're on now, worksheet 6. You tell me which one you want to work, and I'll see if I agree with you. 6. Nah, I don't want to do 6. 5. I don't want to do 5. Give me what looks like a hard one. 7. And why am I saying 7? Why did I turn down 5 and 6 in favor of 7? It's that one we just did. There's a square root on both sides, so it's going to get kind of weird. What do you want to do first on number 7? Square both sides. So that'll fix the left-hand side. Kind of blow up the right-hand side, though. I'm going to rewrite square root of x plus 1 right there so that I can FOIL it. X plus 2 square root of x plus 1. Subtract 1 from both sides, subtract x from both sides. About to get another fraction here. So negative 3/2 x equals square root of x. Now we'll square both sides again, this time to fix the other square root. So 9/4 x squared, because when you square both sides, you got to square all of it. X squared equals x. So what should we do from there? Good, move it to one side. So 9/4 x squared minus x equals 0. I can factor out an x. Good pick. Good job picking a good one. So this x out here by itself, what's that mean? Good, x equals 0. And the other one, I don't know, too many fractions. Set it equal to 0. Move the 1 over. Multiply by 4/9. And get x equals 4/9. I need to check both of those now. 0 is an easy check. That would be the square root of 1 equals the square root of 0 plus 1. Yes, that works. 1 equals 1. 4/9 is going to be a little bit more of a challenge here. Square root of 1 minus 2 times 4/9 would be 8/9 equals square root of 4/9 plus 1. I'm running out of space. 1 minus 8/9 would be 1/9. Square root of 4/9. Again, this always happens. You get ugly fractions and you think, oh man, this is going to be terrible. But what's the square root of 4/9? 2/3. You can square root. The top and bottom are both perfect squares, so it all works out okay. And again, you don't have to show all the way down. As soon as you figure out if it's a yes or a no, you can be good. I'm out of space, but I also think I know the answer here. Does this work or not work? Yes or no? Is this good or not good? Why not? What's the square root of 1/9? 1/3. 2/3 plus 1. Not 1/3. Yeah, 1 and 2/3. So another one where one of the answers worked and one of them did not work. All right, that leaves 7 of them for you to do. But I would say only one of them is the square both sides twice type problem. What's the other extra tricky one? Number 8. Number 8. And there's no back to this worksheet. It's just 1 through 8. So I don't know if you could finish those before you leave, but you might be close. Reminder, the test is coming up, so if you want to peek ahead and work some of the review for tomorrow, or at least look at it tonight and circle the ones that you're like, wait a minute, what in the world does that even mean? That would give you a better idea of what questions to ask tomorrow.